It is 2 o'clock in the morning. The barn is completely quiet, and suddenly, from the far stall, you hear it. Bang, bang, bang! Your horse is stamping their feet over and over, shifting and stamping again. You go out, they stop for a few seconds, and then they start right back up until the bedding is torn up and their legs are wet and dirty. If you are dealing with this right now, I know exactly how frustrated you are. You have probably spent hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on farrier visits and vet calls. You have tried sprays, purple hoof paints, harsh chemical treatments, and expensive supplements. And maybe it works for a week, but the second you stop, the stamping and the smell come right back. What if I told you that your horse might not have a fly problem or a dirty stall problem at all? What if you have been treating the completely wrong thing? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Wade Coleman, your country equine veterinarian. Constant stamping and foot problems are one of the top reasons owners call me out. Today, we are going to end the frustration. In this video, I am going to reveal the real reason your horse will not stop stamping their feet. We are going to break down the hidden root cause, why the sprays and paints keep failing, and I am going to give you the exact, cheap, at-home fix that finally works. Hit that subscribe button, and let's finally bring your horse some relief. Let's start with the big myth. The flies and dirty stall trap. When a horse stamps constantly, the standard response is to blame flies, or to blame the bedding, and then reach for a strong chemical hoof product. Now, some of those products do have their place for a short time. They can knock down a smell for a few days. But here's the problem. They do not fix the underlying issue. They are just a patch. Imagine the warning light comes on in your truck. Using a harsh chemical hoof paint is like sticking a piece of tape over that warning light. Yes, you cannot see the light anymore, and the smell fades for a while, but the engine is still broken. As soon as you stop, the tape comes off, and the problem comes back worse than before. And here is the part that makes me wince. Many of the strongest old-fashioned hoof treatments people reach for are so harsh that they kill healthy tissue right along with the bad. You end up burning the very tissue you are trying to heal, which leaves the hoof weaker and even easier to infect next time. So the horse gets worse. The owner buys something stronger, and around it goes. If it is not just flies and dirty bedding, what is it? Let's meet the real problem. I want you to do something strange today. Go out, pick up your horse's foot, clean it out properly, and put your nose close to it. Does it smell foul and rotten? Is there a black, wet, greasy-looking gunk packed deep in the grooves on either side of the frog? Does the frog itself look ragged, soft, or shrunken? That smell is not just barn smell. That rotten smell is the exact scent of a fungal and bacterial infection eating away at the frog. We call it thrush. This is the real reason your horse is stamping. That infection thrives in warm, dark, damp, airless places. The deep grooves beside the frog are the perfect breeding ground, especially when the foot is packed with wet manure and bedding. When the infection takes hold, it gets tender, it burns, and it makes the horse restless and uncomfortable. So what does the horse do? They stamp. But every time they slam that foot into damp bedding, they drive more moisture and manure right back up into the grooves. It becomes a vicious cycle. The infection makes them stamp, and the stamping feeds the infection. This is why the sprays are not working. A surface spray sits on the outside for a few hours, but it does nothing about a living infection burrowing deep into the grooves, and nothing at all about why that horse's feet became weak enough to get infected in the first place. Real-world example. An owner called me out to a lovely gelding who had been treated for foot problems on and off for 2 years. His frogs were ragged and black in the grooves. He stamped in the cross ties, and he was starting to get sore on hard ground. The owner was almost in tears, convinced her stall cleaning was the problem, even though she was mucking out twice a day. She was doing everything right on the outside. The problem was not really outside at all. So if the infection keeps coming back, where is it really coming from? Why does your horse have rotten frogs while the horse in the next stall is perfectly fine on the same bedding? To answer that, we have to look inside their feed bucket. That infection is a living thing, and like every living thing, it needs the right conditions to take over. And what weakens a hoof from the inside? Sugar and starch. But wait, you do not feed your horse sugar, right? You feed them a quality bagged feed. Here is the nutrition secret. To make grain mixes palatable and hold them together, feed companies use molasses and starchy grains. Sweet feed is coated in it. Even plenty of pellets are far higher in starch than owners realize. When your horse eats a big meal of that starchy feed, a lot of it rushes through to the hindgut instead of being digested up front. The hindgut is a giant fermentation vat full of microbes designed for fiber, not for a flood of starch. When that starch arrives, the wrong microbes bloom. The good fiber-digesting microbes die off, and the whole gut turns acidic. We call this hindgut acidosis. Now here is the part that matters. When those microbes die, they release irritants, and the lining of the gut becomes inflamed and leaky. Those irritants pass into the bloodstream and set off inflammation through the whole body. And in a horse, inflammation shows up in the feet first. Blood flow to the hoof gets disrupted. The horn quality drops. The hoof grows in weaker, softer, and more crumbly. A weak, soft foot is an open door for infection. This is the aha moment. The rotten frog is not the disease. The rotten frog is a symptom of a hoof that has been weakened from the inside by too much sugar and starch. If you only paint the outside, you are fighting a losing battle. You cannot fix a weak hoof from the outside. But do not panic. Now that we know the cause and the why, I am going to show you exactly how to fix it. Fixing this is a two-step process. First, we need to give your horse immediate relief from the burning and soreness in the foot today. We are going to do a cheap, highly effective hoof soak. That infection cannot survive in an acidic environment, so we are going to change the surface of the hoof. You need to buy raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, the kind with the mother in it. Here is the recipe. In a small tub or a rubber feed pan, mix 1 part apple cider vinegar with 2 parts warm water. If the frog looks very raw and tender, dilute it further, 1 part vinegar to 4 parts water, so it does not sting. But before anything touches that foot, pick it out properly. Take a stiff brush and get every bit of packed manure and bedding out of those grooves. This step matters more than anything you pour on afterward, because no soak on earth can reach an infection buried under a plug of dirt. Now stand the foot in the mix, making sure the liquid reaches down into the grooves on either side of the frog, and let it soak for about 5 minutes. The vinegar goes to work on the fungus and bacteria living on the surface, and rinses out the irritants and muck. After 5 minutes, take the foot out, and here is the most critical step. You must dry that foot completely. Use a clean towel and get right down into the grooves. Remember, this infection loves moisture. If you leave the foot damp and put the horse straight back into a wet stall, you have just handed the problem right back. Do this once a day for 7 days. And do the other half of the job too, which is bedding. Deep, dry, clean bedding, picked out properly, and as much turnout on dry ground as you can manage. A foot that is dry for most of the day heals. A foot standing in wet muck does not. Now a vet warning, and please hear this one. Do not use vinegar if the frog is cracked open and bleeding, or if there is a deep hole or crack in the foot. Vinegar is an acid, and it will sting badly on raw, open tissue. And if your horse is actually lame, if the foot feels hot, if there is any swelling up the leg, or if the smell keeps coming back no matter what you do, stop the home remedies and call your vet. A deep infection in a hoof is far more serious than a smell, and it needs professional hands. You will be amazed at what a week of this does. The rotten smell will fade, the frog will start to firm up and look healthy again, and that 2 o'clock in the morning stamping will finally stop. But remember, this only fixes the outside. Now we have to fix the inside so it never comes back. Step 2 is the permanent fix. We have to calm the hindgut and rebuild the hoof from within. If we skip this, the frog just gets infected again next month. Rule number 1 of the internal fix. You must cut the sugar and starch. If you are feeding a sweet feed coated in molasses, or a grain mix where the first ingredients are cheap starchy grains, that has to change. Move to a low-sugar, low-starch feed. Better still, build their diet around forage. Good quality hay in front of them for as many hours as possible in a slow-feed hay net, so fiber is trickling through the gut all day the way nature intended. Split any grain into smaller meals instead of one big scoop, so you never flood the hindgut at once. That alone changes everything. Rule number 2. We have to rebuild the army in the gut. Right now, the wrong microbes are winning. We need reinforcements. Add a good quality equine probiotic to their feed every single day. Look for one that contains a beneficial yeast called Saccharomyces boulardii, which is well studied in horses for helping steady the hindgut. Add a scoop of soaked plain beet pulp too, because it is gentle, highly digestible fiber that feeds the good microbes directly. And while the gut is healing, give the hoof the building blocks it needs. A biotin supplement fed daily is one of the few hoof supplements with real evidence behind it, and ground flaxseed adds the healthy fats that support strong horn. But be patient with this part. A hoof grows down slowly, so it takes many months to grow out a whole new, stronger foot. You will feel the difference in the gut in a few weeks. You will see the difference in the hoof over a season. By dropping the sugar, feeding fiber, and adding probiotics, you are changing the entire environment inside your horse. You are building a horse whose feet are simply too strong and too healthy for that infection to take hold. I know this was a lot, and I know changing feed and soaking feet takes time and effort. But think about the alternative. The alternative is watching your horse stand there uncomfortable, stamping the ground raw, while you keep buying stronger and stronger chemicals that will never fix the root cause. You are the only advocate your horse has. They are relying on you to look past the symptom and heal them from the inside out. Let's review the plan. Step 1. Pick out the foot and smell it. If it smells rotten and the grooves are black, that is thrush. Step 2. Start the 5-minute apple cider vinegar soak today. Dry the foot completely and get them onto clean, dry footing. Step 3. Starve the problem at the source by cutting sugar and starch, feeding more forage, and adding a probiotic and biotin to rebuild a strong hoof permanently. And Step 4. If there is heat, swelling, or lameness, call your vet. You can do this. I promise you, when you walk out to a quiet barn at night and your horse is standing there resting a foot instead of stamping it, it is the best feeling in the world. Does your horse have that rotten smell? Have you been stuck in the endless spray and paint cycle? Tell me your story in the comments below. I want to help you. If this masterclass gave you that aha moment, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend whose horse is stamping. You might just change that horse's life. I'm Dr. Wade Coleman. Thank you for being an amazing horse owner, and I'll see you in the next video.